All right, welcome back to the Run.down post-game show here on the Strickland YouTube channel. If you're listening to this the day after the Strickland Podcast Network, I'm Sam. I'm joined by Schwinn and Tyrese. Knicks lose 128-124. First defeat since acquiring OG Anunoby. First defeat in the new year. Snapping our 4-game win streak. It's 5-game?
Yeah. You should know that foot fetish FBL.
Oh, okay. It's too early in the show to be going off the rails already. But anyways, before we get into all that, all the major sports are in action this week with the college football playoffs already passing by. BetOnline is your number one destination for all your sports wagering info, including all news for pro football, the NBA, upcoming fights, and NHL games this season. Head to the website today to get into the action and see all the updated odds for the week. Remember to use promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online where the game starts. From the beginning of this game, there was just a lack of urgency on the Knicks part, and that kind of continued up until, you can even say to the last possession, basically. Like, even with that whole situation of needing to get a rebound over Josh Green and whoever else it was, or it was just Josh Green, right? Basically.
Yep.
And we couldn't get a rebound, and like that kind of encapsulated, I think, tonight the Knicks' overall effort. What also encapsulated their effort is the lack of steals I see in the box score from our usual steals and blocks from our usual suspects. That's something that stuck out to me, at least. OG Anunoby, no steals tonight. Hartenstein, no blocks tonight. But those two, they're usually in. Those are usually their stats where they make their money. But yeah, Brunson had a weird start to the game, still ended it with 30. Randall kind of took things over in that third quarter. Just a very weird game. I don't like these Dallas games in Dallas, and I see someone here. Who is it? Nick's tape. He says something about Dallas and rebounding. It was. On a night where like they have no Luka, they have no Lively, they have no Exum, who Tyrese discovered is a good basketball player recently. It's kind of disappointing that we couldn't get this win. I feel like I was writing checks for the Knicks before this game that they couldn't cash for me on Twitter.
But they can cash your fucking parlays, can't they?
Dog. But yeah, let's get into you guys' individual thoughts about this game. Tyrese, you're closer to this Texas area, so why don't you start?
God, man, I fucking hate. Why the fuck did we wait until the final 5 minutes to double team the only motherfucker who can dribble on that team? I do not understand the thought process of, we're gonna just put OG and Anunoby on him, and like I get it, he's one of the best wing defenders in the league, but clearly that wasn't working after the first quarter, so there was just no pivot.
So Kyrie Irving, he's like pretty good at basketball, even though he's insane. And sometimes when you play a really good player, your initial plan might not work. And so usually it's like a good idea to like change it up and throw different stuff at them instead of just continuing to do the plan while it's not working. And when he did deviate from the plan, it actually worked. The Knicks cut I think they were down 20 with about 8:32 left. They had it as a 1-point game with 1:06 left when they started trapping Kyrie Irving. I don't really think it's that hard. Like, yeah, we can sit here and talk about the refs and rebounding and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, the Knicks effort level was not at the top of its game tonight. They still should have won this game with like some basic tactical shifts. They probably win this game pretty easily. Like, I understand, okay, fine, the first half, you just come out and you're like, fine, we're just going to do this thing. You come out, okay? You fucking come out at the start of the second half, and you're still doing the same thing. The offense is still the same. The defensive execution on Kyrie is basically the same thing. They switched a little bit more, but even when they switched, it was still no help was coming. So you effectively were just leaving whoever was on Kyrie at various points on an island. And guess what? That didn't work. Kyrie Irving's one of the best ISO scorers in the league. He has been for a long time. He's also a great pick and roll player. Like, you let him get shots that he's good at. And look, I sometimes you might dare somebody to beat you in ISO and they might not do it. And that's an okay play because ISOs in general are not high value shots. So I get trying it. What I don't get is waiting it as long as he did to deviate from that. And I also just think the Precious stuff is ridiculous. Like, he's not a fucking 5, dude. He like this you're just seeing why I really I just can't see us actually winning a championship with Tom Thibodeau as I don't know why I was about to call him Tyrone Thibodeau. That's insane. Tom Thibodeau.
Thibodeau.
Tom Thibodeau. You're not going to do it with Tom Thibodeau as your head coach because, he's so fucking married to the idea of having a 5 on the floor that he's now convinced himself that Precious is like a true 5 or something. And even when you're playing a team like the Mavericks, they dead ass had fucking Marcus Moore. Is it Marcus Moore? No, they have Markieff Morris. They dead ass had fucking Markieff Morris at the 5 in the first half. They were doing that in the first half. That was a real fucking lineup they threw out there. And then he had Grant Williams for long stretches of the fourth quarter at the 5. And at no point of this game, or not just in the fourth quarter, in the second half, but at no point in this game did Tibbs think to himself, you know what? It's probably Randall the 5. Let me go Randall the 5. Let me go. And because he doesn't do that, you end up with asinine shit like Precious Achiuwa getting more minutes in a game than Quentin Grimes. And sure, it's cool that Precious Achiuwa was a +3 tonight and he didn't play awfully or anything. He was okay. He did have an amazing turnover after making a great steal, which was really an incredible decision. But again, it's if he he always conflates stuff because he said something the other day. I mean, he said this multiple times this year, but he's talked about net rating is the thing that he cares about the most. And in general, that's fine. And I don't know if I don't think he applies it consistently. That's very clear. But I don't if Precious Achiuwa, what is the point of playing Precious Achiuwa 16 minutes tonight? I want to understand this because those minutes were not fundamentally +3 in 16 minutes. I think anybody that was watching that game, did you guys feel Precious is having an impact out here? I just thought he was okay. He didn't fuck up.
He was just a guy out there.
Yeah, he was okay. And I'm not saying Grimes played great, but I know that Grimes has had games where he can win you or at least help you win the game. And because he has to have a 5 on the floor at all times, Precious Achiuwa played more than Quentin Grimes purely because Isaiah Hartenstein was in foul trouble in the third quarter. That's it. It's not about a matchup. It's not about what lineup he thinks is best. It's not anything. And also, it's amazing that you can play Julius Randle 37 minutes tonight and Jalen Brunson 39 minutes tonight and still start the fourth quarter and play 3 minutes and 18 seconds without either of them on the floor.
Bro, that drove me insane because, I understand trying to give Deuce a chance, but, man, those minutes of him and Josh Hart and Grimes playing catch on the perimeter with Isaiah Hartenstein mixed in there, it's just what are we doing? We're down by 20. Are you trying to win the game or are you trying to give Deuce charity minutes?
I honestly, the Deuce thing was insane. He picked up 2 fouls in the first half, so then he just didn't play him the entire second quarter, and then and it's I had multiple people be well, Deuce picked up 2 fouls. Deuce plays 12 fucking minutes. Is he's not in foul trouble.
He's not going to foul out.
And if he does, who gives a shit if he does foul out? Tibbs doesn't even give a shit, obviously. It's just, and he won't use, he now has gone back to this thing of so I guess for some reason Quickly was a 2-position player, but Deuce is now so it's weird. Deuce was a 2 when you'd use him previously when Quickly was here, but now that Quickly is gone, Deuce is the backup point guard. But also he can never play at the 2 now next to Brunson. So therefore he only gets the minutes when Brunson sits. It's I genuinely have there's no consistency to the logic of various things. And again, I don't want to turn this whole thing into this is why I hate Tibbs, but games like this are exactly why I when he was it Chris that asked him, right? At a press conference after the OG trade about using Randall at the 5 and blah, blah, blah. And he said all these wonderful things. Oh, yeah.
Josh Hart a lot.
Yeah, OG is here. And he's we have options now, blah, 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 blah. He's run it for a minute and a half or something in the entire time that we had OG. And tonight, again, it's a game. I get it when you play a team like Minnesota. It's a big team, right? I get why you don't play small against them, right? That's fine. I get why, if things are rolling, fine. Things are rolling. You don't want to mess with whatever you're doing. Whatever. I don't give a shit. I'll live with that. But in a game like tonight, where one, especially, look towards the end of that game, right? You're trapping and you're doing like all these kind of aggressive things. And Hartenstein was really good. So I'm not saying like never have a 5 on the floor, but like to not attempt a small lineup at all, again, especially when you're trapping and doing all these things and asking guys to make longer rotations and recover and all this stuff, like I just find that crazy. And I think it's a real limiting factor. And I think it's something that like, I don't know. I mean, aside from teams that have like superstar centers, like Jokic or Embiid or whatever, almost every team has a lineup that they go to at times that is 5 out, like the fucking Lakers have been using LeBron at center under multiple coaches now for years. Like they did it with Frank Vogel. They do it now with Darvin Ham. The point isn't like doing it just to do it also isn't good, but there are situations and matchups where you can go to it and maybe you should go to it. And tonight was one where I thought from the jump of this game, like, this is definitely a game where you can at least try it out, see what happens. And like, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to go down 20. Okay. Like, guess what? It happened anyway. So, just kind of frustrating to me when, I don't know. Like again, Precious was 3 for 3, 6 more than 16 minutes, and he played a minute more than Grimes. It was Hart, who Grimes should have gotten minutes over. It can be both. It can be all the things. Like,
yeah.
The point is, first of all, he's using Josh Hart at the 2 for a bunch of these minutes for whatever fucking reason, because he's gotten in his head now that size is all that matters, and like, and they played well in a couple of games against fucking like the Bulls and fucking Washington or whatever, and apparently that proves everything. But like, one, yes, I agree, play Grimes more than Hart. 2, I would like to see Josh Hart. It doesn't need to be Josh Hart. Like, it can be Randall. It can be fucking OG Anunoby. It can be Grimes, DiVincenzo, Brunson. Like, they had lineups that was like Josh Green at 3. Josh Green is literally Grimes' size. He's quite literally Quentin Grimes' size. So, like, the lack of creativity and willingness to just try things. And yes, like the Josh Hart stuff is ridiculous. For him to play 23 minutes tonight is absurd. And he's bricking, like, I mean, some of these threes he's taking, like, I don't know. Can somebody, like, they need to get him in, like, they need to install a fucking phone booth in Westchester in the corners and make him shoot from the fucking phone booth so that he can't, like,
lean sideways every single time.
Like, fucking, like, it's like, dude thinks he's in, like, fucking Fat Joe video, man. Get the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ. Just go up straight. Good fucking God.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. That the beginning of that fourth quarter was something that definitely annoyed me. Tyrone Thibodeau sounds like Tyrese's boomer alter ego. Oh, Tyrese, you should steal that now. You should go on the timeline as Tyrone Thibodeau during some games. Is Tyrese even still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're muted. You're muted.
What you want me to is Tyrone Thibodeau? Ice, nigga, ice. Like,
oh man, but yeah, I mean, Thibs has these, like, see, this is my situation. This is my biggest problem with Thibs, that you've kind of encapsulated in a large rant, is that versus teams that are going to be just a little bit that much more creative and that are going to make you like they're going to make you want to try things. But Thibs is the coach that's just going to revert to his old ways every single time when he gets pressured in these situations. Like these games that we were blowing out teams comfortably, you didn't see a lot of these thorns that we see with Thibs. But like when teams really put the pressure to us, that's when he really reverts to his old ways, or at least they show that much more. And
I mean, yeah, like, I mean, his obsession with Josh Hart is like the perfect thing. Like John Leary just said, time to have a conversation about Josh Hart. He's been a below average NBA player this year. Defense hasn't been play Grimes more. Yeah, look, I know like the net rating for him right now probably looks awesome. I think he's gotten fortunate with the lineups he's played in more so than how effective he himself has been. He's had some really monstrous games, but for the most part this year, I agree. He's just not been consistent. And like, I don't know, just to kind of speak to this point, like coming into tonight's game, this hasn't updated yet. Josh Hart, by EPM, he's in the 25th percentile in offensive EPM, and he's only in the 64th percentile in defensive EPM. He's 34th in the 34th overall percentile in EPM. That's bad, obviously. 34th percentile is not good. As Sam, as a teacher, could tell you, that's a bad grade.
Yes.
And like, he's just not. I mean, today was the guy fucking knocked the ball away from Julius twice on the glass, on the defensive glass, and then he did it again on the offensive glass in the fourth quarter.
My God.
And I'm actually surprised. Like, honestly, this is how, like, whatever you want to say about Julius Knight and Prime.
I was surprised that he didn't like freaking like knock him out.
Yeah, let me tell you, like, you can say whatever you want. Like, Julius did not bring his A game to start for sure. The defense was very bad to start this game, but I was like shocked that Randall did not just fucking lose it on Josh Hart. Like, it was because the one with like Grant Williams, where they both are there, and then for some reason Josh tries to like rip the ball, and then Grant Williams ends up on the ground and gets it. I was just like, are you fucking serious, bro? Like, I was like, man, you're so lucky you're not Quickly, dude, because I know Julius would have lost his mind on him. But like, it's just it's. But so yeah, like once like actually credit to Julius Randle for somehow keeping
restraining himself,
because I certainly was not restraining myself on my couch. It was, I don't know, this Josh Hart thing. It's like, again, so tonight he plays 23 minutes. He's a -11. Grimes 15 minutes, -8. DiVincenzo 30 minutes, -6. So it's nice to see DiVincenzo get more minutes than Josh Hart. Honestly, I think he could have gotten even more. Grimes could have gotten more. But the point being is, like,
anybody literally could have gotten more than Josh Hart.
And he only had one defensive rebound tonight, so like not a particularly great defensive rebounding effort from him. He had 3 offensive rebounds, to be fair. But like on a night where it was pretty obvious that Dallas was just like, we're going to collapse on everything in the paint, and you can either muscle your way through, which, you know, Julius obviously did multiple times. Brunson was able to do a few times. Or you can make the extra pass and kick out to shooters. In a game like this, to not understand that and either downsize or simply cut Hart's minutes is wild to me. And again, like, I genuinely believe there will come a point in time, you know, be it in a critical regular season situation or in the playoffs or something, where he is going to lean on Josh Hart in the dumbest possible moment, and it will cost us a game. That matters a lot. And this is why, like, I worry about this stuff now, because it's not, look, I genuinely mean, it's like, they lost the fucking game tonight. Whatever, dude. Like, go look at some of the box scores in the NBA the last few days. Go look at some of the box scores tonight. But like shit happens. The fucking Celtics lost to like the Hornets at one point this year. Okay. Like, they nearly lost to the fucking Pistons at home. Like, weird shit happens in NBA regular season. That part doesn't concern me. What concerns me is the actual underlying decision-making processes. And again, like, I mean, we talked about this a lot today in our Discord, where people were like, well, why are you still bringing up like shit he did 2 years ago, you know, with Quickly to, and I'm like, because, like, can we just rewind? Like 2 weeks ago, or wherever the fuck it was, this guy was still he was like starting Jericho Sims over Isaiah Hartenstein because he wanted to keep Hartenstein with the bench or something. And it took an injury to Jericho Sims to make him start Isaiah Hartenstein. Even though we knew going back to last season, the Jericho Sims with the starter minutes have sucked. They sucked last year. They sucked again this year. And we knew, and we know, that Hartenstein with the starters is really good because he's really good. And even then, he did not make that change until an injury forced it on him. And now Jericho Sims is healthy, right? This tells you how insanely, like, backwards his logic is. Jericho Sims is healthy. So this guy went from starting center when Mitchell Robinson was out to now DNP-CD behind Precious fucking Achua. Like, how does that make sense? How the fuck does that make any sense? Like, this is my issue. He just approaches things in such a weird way, and then he won't deviate unless, like, things are forced upon him because of injuries or situations. And then he compounds stuff because of how rigid he is with how he views lineups. So it's like, I have to have a rim protector on the floor. Motherfucker, what rim is Precious Chua protecting? Like, is he protecting any rim? Maybe like ours when we're playing offense because they're not fucking defending him. Like this man, no joke. Okay, this is the lineup that started the fourth quarter was Deuce, Grimes, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, and Precious. We saw that like a few games ago, and it sucked. And you know what? Like there's some experiments.
He wanted to make sure that it still sucks.
There like this is what's so like I tweeted like it was the Philly game is the one where he played it and it was like not good, but they Deuce hit a couple threes and their defense was really locked in that day, so they were able to get by. But like when I said that after that game, people were like, "Oh, like well he's experimenting," and I'm like, some experiments are stupid. Like if you put out a lineup that has no shot creation, no dribble penetration, like how does that? In what situation are you ever like, we really need to play this lineup where nobody can create offense? This is it. This is the key to this specific situation. What is the situation where that happens? Is it like
you're up 40 and you just like want to like stall time?
It's just ridiculous. So it's like, I don't understand that. And then it's like, but he'll experiment with that, which is a dumb experiment and literally will not work over an extended sample, but he will never experiment with downsizing and using Randall at the 5. And anybody that thinks like this is normal, I mean, if you look at Julius Randle, I'm just going to pull it up right now. Julius Randle in his career prior to coming to the Knicks played 5, a decent amount. Okay. He played before coming to the Knicks. Okay. Look, in the last 4 years under Tom Thibodeau, he's played 4%, 7%, 4%, 3% of his minutes combined at the 5. Prior to coming to New York, this is what his minutes were. Okay. I'm not going to count his rookie year because he played 14 minutes and then got injured. This is what it is. Okay. Second year, 27%, third year, 33%, fourth year, 49%, fifth year, 26%. This is a guy who has played the 5 a bunch in earlier seasons in his career when he's younger. And now he can't play the fucking 5 at all? I'm sorry. Like the rigidity of how Julius Randle is used and then just how that trickles down to the rest of the roster, despite getting a chess piece like OG Anunoby, is very discouraging to me.
I mean, it just proves all the things that we all anticipated, even if you get Thibs the right pieces. Like, it doesn't matter.
Because to him, they're not the right pieces.
They'll never be the right pieces. He'll always have some other excuse about why this is not the right piece to do this.
He's just a very frustrating coach because he's always like the way he presents information. Like I guarantee you, this is why they're fucking idiots running around Twitter saying we need Daniel fucking Gafford. Yeah, we need Daniel Gafford because he's 7 feet tall. Like, I would rather if you were gonna just get some big guy from Washington, I'd much rather have Kyle Kuzma than fucking Gafford. Just because I'd be like, oh, okay, good. Like they want to maybe put out some of these weird jumbo like 3, 4, 5 lineups without a true 5. That's really cool. Like, but that like what would probably happen is he'd probably like make Grimes situational, use like Hart or Kuzma as like the backup
2 and 3
or something, or he just extend the rotation to 10 guys. Like it's so.
He'd play Josh Hart back up 2. He'd play Kuzma back up 3. Like he'd do stupid shit like that.
It'd be really funny to hear him like talk about why Precious is a 5, but Kuzma isn't. That would be really funny. I would be interested in like
good size, length, switchability.
Jeff has joined us. Jeff, your thoughts on tonight's game?
That was shitty, I guess. It was unexpected, I guess is the best word I can use.
Back-to-back years of the Mavs game being shitty.
Yeah.
Dude, last year
it's just weird. Like I forgot they could do that. Like I guess that's what playing I guess that's what playing the Blazers and Wizards does to you. Is I just thought they would crush teams forever,
Especially a team missing Luka Doncic, Derek Lively, Dante Exum, 3.
I hope people I hope people remember this game when we have the yearly Luka doesn't have enough conversation. Because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Obviously,
No help. No help.
He has a guy who could drop 40 and 30. He has two guys who could drop 35 plus at whim, basically.
Well, Kyrie's usage is going to drop immensely, and he'll struggle because his touches will be. I mean, somebody can record this. He's gonna quote unquote struggle, and people will be like, "Oh, Kyrie actually sucks," and it's like, or guy who likes ball in his hands isn't used to not having ball in his hands.
NPC. NPC says they could have won if we doubled Kyrie earlier in the game. Look, man, I'm with you.
At any point.
I'll never understand the idea of like he does this and then you'll like remember in the Miami series he just kept doubling Jimmy and you're like, why are you doubling Jimmy? You don't need to.
Jimmy has one leg. You don't need to double Jimmy.
And I like he's so weird with how he chooses to do these things because I remember a few years ago there was that game where like Durant was absolutely on fucking fire. I think he had like 50 or something against us, and he wouldn't trap until like the last 5 minutes of the game. And it's just like, why are you waiting this long? Like, and it's like, this is like, I get it, man. That last possession where we're down 1 and they get 3 offensive rebounds. Yeah, it's frustrating, but guess what? The game didn't come down to that one possession. It didn't. Like, you waited basically 42 to 43 minutes of game time to prioritize getting the fucking ball out of the one guy on their team, getting the ball out of the hands of the one guy on their team that could create and break down your defense and create all these open looks. And like, voila, magically you start getting stops. You're able to get on transition a few times. The lead is getting cut. Like, it's really just, it didn't come down to that one possession. It comes down to that because of the decisions and the play of your players. Like, we don't need to divorce them from this either. Over the previous 47. And so, like, yeah, if Randall had started the game wanting to do anything on defense, if Brunson had started the game not playing like a crackhead, if Josh Hart did anything, if I don't know, I thought Hartenstein, it took a while for him to get in the game and start like kind of getting into it. But there's all kinds of things that go into it. But I repeated this forever. Like, yes, players have to own their own performance, 90% of it, 95% of it, whatever, the vast majority of it. A coach's responsibility is to control what he can control. And when you don't do that, and when you allow the margins to shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink, like, this is what happens. I bet you if the Knicks get this game into overtime, they probably win by like 10. Like, but you didn't get the game to overtime. And that's because of your approach over the full 48 minutes.
Yeah.
If you change nothing, but Josh Hart doesn't try stealing that rebound from Julius Randle, they're up 2.
God.
Yeah, we talked about that. That's legitimately insane stuff. Josh Hart, do we think that, I mean, I think it's obvious, but like, I think that like, because of the success that Thibs had in the Cleveland series, that he is just like, you know what, Josh Hart full throttle all the way, all the time, no matter what. And like that's the thing about him, when he finds like even the sliver of success with something at least just once in a key moment, he'll go with that no matter what. Like that just becomes his default.
Sam, what do you always call, I forget the word, I know the word, but I'm blanking out. What do you always call Tibbs when we used to talk about how he just can't seem to get fired even no matter what he does? You would always say he's something.
He's Teflon.
Yeah, that's Josh Hart in the rotation now.
He's like Rick Ross, Teflon Don.
Yeah,
Yep.
like Josh Hart deserves to be believed in. He was that good last season. He's been that good as a player in his NBA career. But like, if Quentin Grimes can play 15 minutes on a night like tonight when he played well, then Josh Hart at this point in the season should have nights when he's playing like this where he can play 15 minutes too. Like, we have enough data that shows that Grimes at small forward works. We have OG Anunoby now, who's playing 39 minutes a night. 9 minutes of Quentin Grimes playing small forward isn't going to kill you, especially when he's playing this well and he's as good as defense as he is. He just has not been good this season at all.
I'm waiting for EPM to refresh here.
Yeah, it usually
fucking
takes
dunks and threes.
So I just wanted to read. Jordan Bub says whether refs are good, which they weren't or not, but Tibbs cost us a game in which we really didn't need, but would really like to have, and he cost us a playoff series with his tactical decisions. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't know if he makes the opposite decision against Miami that you win the series. What I do know is that he had tried the Josh Hart RJ thing enough that to go to that for so long in that game 6 was clearly a mistake. This from Larry Israel. I would criticize Tibbs for being afraid to challenge the Hartenstein foul, which should have been an offensive on Grant and was instead of 3-point play. Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is in the CBA, there's this little known rule that says that Tom Thibodeau can't challenge a play until the fourth quarter. So it's an unfortunate reality of this.
Him and so many coaches in the league are really bad at this. Like, you have a challenge, use it. Like, especially if like you have a chance to like swing the tides of momentum in your favor, like do it.
I feel like it was Christmas Day, Sam. I forget which game it was. I think it was the Christmas game when they brought up a stat that was like Tibbs had only challenged in 2 of the 27 games up to that point. And even like I was shocked by like not shocked because I was like, yeah, I guess he doesn't ever challenge, but just like there has to be somebody in the analytics department that's just like, wait a second, we're missing out on something here because it's literally a free roll. Like at a certain point in the game, it's just a free roll. I understand you lose a timeout when you lose, so it's not technically a free roll. But with this new rule where it's not like before, where even if you win the challenge, you don't get another challenge. Like, yeah, you have to be precise with your challenges when that's the rule. But if you get your challenge back when you win, at a certain point when there's 2 minutes left in the game, you just fucking use it on anything close. You just use it unless the timeout situation is dire. It's shocking that he's so reluctant to use the challenge. Like,
and he has a good success rate with them too. Like when he uses them, like he's usually like getting them reversed, like the calls reversed or things in our favor.
The way I always think of this is like if there's an obvious call that's wrong, let's say it's like a foul that costs you 2 points, right? 2 points is huge. Like I know that sounds stupid to say, but like think about how point spreads. 2 points is fucking massive. It's huge. Saving 2 points is huge. So if you have an opportunity to save 2 points and you don't do it because of some hypothetical maybe situation that could arise in the fourth quarter, like that's just dumb, man. Like saving points whenever it occurs matters. Like it's a 48-minute game. So if you save 3 points in the first quarter, guess what? That might just be as valuable as saving 3 points with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Like that's the point. And like this is why NFL coaches hold on to challenges until like 6 minutes left in the third quarter, like in the fourth quarter. Oh no. Oh, okay. Now I can use my challenges. No, because fucking the game is it's a finite period of time. So these are set values. It's not like it's not some like hypothetical situation. You can't figure out what the value of these things is. So that'll always drive me nuts.
By the way, Bradley Beal is like taking a huge shit on the Lakers right now. Holy shit, the Lakers can't guard a soul.
This is the portion of the season where LeBron gets in his feelings until a trade is made. And
it's like, bro, it's like you made the sandwich, dude. You made the sandwich,
right? But so
on the subway,
you just have to wait until after the trade deadline, and all of a sudden, LeBron will still put up the same exact numbers he's putting up now, but they will be winning those minutes by like 70 points every game. Because
it's like, bro, how do you hate the sandwich? You made it. Like every year he does it.
What can we talk about why Tyrese is really obsessed with his sandwich analogy? What are your thoughts on this, Tyrese?
What
do you think about Sam's sandwich analogy?
Bro, it's a running joke on social media. It's the thing with Kevin Durant. You know, Kevin Durant, he makes his sandwich every year, and
It's the Subway
What?
meme.
Yeah, it's
He is the
Have
servant.
you guys really not seen the Subway meme?
No.
Sam's not. Oh, it's a very.
Yeah, it's one that's used with Kevin Durant all the time. Every time he acts out of a super team, it's like, bro, you
I feel-
made the team. Like,
I feel like Steve, the Steve Buscemi picture right now. How's it going, young kids? You know, like I've got the backpack on. You know, I'm hip with the kids and the memes and stuff.
man, I was so pissed. I really wanted the Knicks to win this just because of this stat. And I saw that clip that was going around today of Kyrie saying, "I love beating the Knicks," and I was like, "We got something for you tonight." And lo and behold, the Knicks. I wrote a check for the Knicks that they just couldn't cash for me.
I have a question for you guys. Am I the only one? So Kyrie has the ball. The Knicks are down 1. They have this huge comeback on, and huge part of it is they've been sending doubles at Kyrie. Am I the only one who, when that possession started, got flashbacks to Elfrid Payton waving off the double?
Oh God! Oh my God!
I was like, is OG gonna do it? Is he gonna wave off the Julius Randle double like Elf did? That's legitimately one of the funniest things that's ever happened in Knicks history. Oh my God!
Also, like I gotta say, I would want to throw this out there because I did say he played a terrible defensive first half. But I thought Randall was really good with those traps. Like he was executing those really well. There was actually one where they tried to screen him, and he like saw the screen and popped out higher to deny it. So I just wanted to shout him out for that because I thought he played really well in the second half. Unfortunately, he did not do so hot defensively in the first half. By the way, that fucking charge call that they called the second one, the one that they called on Jaden Hardy, that call was garbage, man. That was a garbage call.
Because also, the non-call on what you call it, Josh Green just trucking Jalen.
That was nuts. And then there was also
DiVincenzo was also like nuts.
There was also one in the first half where Randall went up and they thought Randall was complaining and they were like, "Oh, the entire bench is up." They weren't complaining about a foul. They were complaining because it was an obvious fucking goaltend. Like it came off the glass and Marcus Morris, the monster 5 that we needed pressure chew on the floor for, came over and blocked it. So like it's just man. And then like Green again really had his PBA card out throughout tonight.
Bro,
he was so close to just being like the refs are like just really bad at fishing for him, but he had to like waffle.
He said like, on both sides. All lives matter.
Yeah, he did say he did the both sides thing, and then he also said like he was also like, look, it's really hard. It's really tough on these guys. I'm like, you are like, yeah, you're a fucking cop, bro. Like, get your fucking badge out of here, dude. It was ridiculous. Like, it just
over here backing the blue.
It's okay to just call a bad officiated game a bad officiated game. Like nobody, it's fine. And I just
he's become such a Republican. He's hanging out with Wally and Ahan way too
much. Dude,
Clyde
was fucking commenting like a liberal today because he was just homering it the fuck up. And for some ever reason, Mike Green is just like,
Green's been hanging out with Wally and Han too much. I'm telling y'all, it's that Republican.
He's been hanging out with Doris Burke too much. That's his problem.
the deuce foul on Hardy was crazy. The other one that was insane was that Grant Williams one at the end of the first half, where he like dude, he just runs in front of Brunson, who's trying to like get ahead of steam. Yeah, he's like trying to get ahead of steam because there's 2.3 seconds left, right? So he's trying to get ahead of steam, like catch, like he wants to receive the ball as he's running, right? And Grant Williams gets in his path. First, they call a double foul, which was stupid enough, which was dumb enough. But I was like, all right, double foul, like we get the ball still, whatever, I'll take that. Then they get together, and then they're like, oh, no, actually, it's an offensive foul. Like, get the fuck out of here. Grant Williams is the biggest piece of shit. I fucking hate that guy.
He's built like a fucking baked potato. I fucking hate him.
He's built like a fucking, just a sack of shit. Stacked fucking 6'4" that weighs 320. He should be a defensive tackle for like the fucking Edmonton Argonauts or some fucking CFL team.
He's a fucking geek who's built like a double fudge sundae. Like I don't give a fuck.
Double fudge sundae.
Just nothing, just fucking lumps everywhere. Like get the fuck out of here, man. God,
he was very annoying tonight.
He's always annoying. He was like born annoying. He's literally born to be annoying. He's just a fucking loser.
He has the
And-
fucking.
Did y'all see that
charisma.
clip of him with Taylor Rooks? By the way,
Yeah,
he
at least he
could not control
provided
himself.
that, because the replies to that interview are like literally the funniest thing in the entire world. Like, just go if you're bored, just grab a 6-pack of beer and read that thread, and then you'll have a fucking good night, man. Like a
Dude,
really good night.
He has the fucking charisma of a hall monitor. I just
Oh my.
Oh, hall monitor, that's crazy.
God.
Okay, so
loser.
to talk about actual basketball here for a second, Schwinn brought up Markieff Morris playing center, and I just want to dispel one myth. Tibbs is, and this isn't to counter what Schwinn's point was, because I still agree with Schwinn's point, but just for a slightly different reason. Tibbs isn't playing paint-bound centers, rim-protecting centers like Mitch and Hardenstein and quote-unquote Precious Achiuwa all the time, because he wants like them to match up with opposing centers because he's afraid of getting bullied for the most part. Obviously, against like Embiid and Jokic, he is afraid of that. He sticks with them because he's afraid of losing at the point of attack and the guards just getting nonstop layups. Like if Julius Randle is the only big, he's afraid of the guards penetrating and getting layups. He wants that last level of defense. The problem is when you have a lineup like the one they had with Grant Williams at center, the Mavericks weren't getting layups. They were just getting relentless threes. And so when that's happening, when you're not switching everything, when you're losing at the point of attack and the Mavericks are just creating open three after open three, the benefit of going small with them is that you can switch everything and take away the threes. Yes, you might cede some layups. Like Tibbs would say, okay, well, this layup we just gave up wouldn't have happened if Isaiah Hardenstein was on the court. Guess fucking what, dude? All those threes that you gave up wouldn't happen if you had a smaller lineup. So you can't only have it one way. You don't get to say, oh, I have this guy out here because God forbid they give up an extra layup or two. You would much rather give up a sort of contested layup with Julius Randle meeting them at the rim than never-ending open threes. In today's day and age, letting the whole other team get into rhythm and giving up all these open three after open threes, that's worse. So yeah, I mean, I always see people be like, oh my God, they don't even have a center. Why are we not going small? And it's like, let's watch the game. And if the team is getting to the rim all the time because your point of attack defense is bad, okay, I'm fine with having that last layer of defense. If the team is just launching away from three, it doesn't fucking matter who's at the rim. Like it doesn't matter at all.
By the way, new Josh Hart EPM numbers just dropped. It's that he's now in the 32nd percentile in EPM with a robust minus 2.9. He is in the 24th percentile now offensively and the 63rd percentile defensively. He's a negative now on both ends, minus 2.8 on offense, slight negative on defense, minus 0.1. Tonight was one of his worst defensive performances of the season. There was a play in the first half where he made Jaden Hardy I was like Jaden Hardy just blew by him, and I'm like, is he prime Russell Westbrook now? Like, what the fuck was that? I don't know what's up with him, but like, it's like he had that. Was it against Philly that he played like a fucking absolute man possessed? Is that the Philly game that Josh Hart had?
Yes,
and like, it's like he did that, and then since then he's gone back to a lot of just like,
that game brought him however many games left that he needs to still remain Thibs' favorite. He's always going to have these games where it refreshes that card for him.
He's just always going to see what reinforces what he already knows to be true. We already know this about Tibbs. Like, he literally talked about OG Anunoby and being like, I think net rating is the most important thing, and OG Anunoby's net rating through 4 games is amazing. He had 4 years of evidence with another person whose net rating was always the best on the team, and that never fucking mattered. The only reason he's now trying to act smart and be like, oh yeah, I care about on-off like net rating, yada yada, is because he already decided in his head before the trade that OG Anunoby was really good, which is correct. OG Anunoby is really good, but it's like the analysis isn't consistent. Like, I guarantee you right now, the Deuce minutes are so ridiculous because over a small sample, the on-off stuff is terrible. And so it's like, oh, this reinforces what I already know. Deuce can't play big minutes. Just got to play Jalen Brunson an absurd amount of minutes every night.
The front office, the front office has to get me a guy. It's on the front office now.
And Schwinn talks about this all the time. The front office is going to acquiesce. They're going to get him a ball handler. The more we do this, it's like, what is even the point of Tibbs? Like, this is like he's basically making himself. I don't even want to say redundant, but just like what is the point? He's like, oh, if I don't have Jalen Brunson and someone who's sort of like Jalen Brunson behind him, I'm just going to play Jalen Brunson 48 minutes a night. Like, your move, front office. And it's like, dude, if any team had 2 Jalen Brunsons, they'd be fucking awesome and they could figure it out. Like, your job is to figure out how to play Jalen Brunson a reasonable amount of minutes so he's ready for the playoffs, and then figure out what to do when he's off the court. Playing Jalen Brunson 42 minutes a night and then being like, oh my God, these 6 minutes aren't working, get me somebody else, is preposterous.
By the way, tonight, I just got to say this because this is actually like, this really makes it hilarious to me. Brunson played 39 minutes, Randall played 37, Hartenstein played 32, and he still started in that fourth quarter. Pretty sure Hartenstein didn't come in until like
2 or 3 minutes in.
Yeah, like it
was
like,
ridiculous.
If you're not gonna have Brunson or Randall on the floor, at least give them Hartenstein. At least give them something that gives them a fucking chance. And it's so dumb to me because look, I'll say this too. Like I love Quickly, right? If you put Quickly in these lineups with Deuce, yeah, he might just like make them somehow somewhat functional because like he has this knack of doing that. But we'd still be like, these lineups suck. Like these are not good lineups. The problem isn't. Part of the totality of the 5-man lineup. The issue is yes, Deuce is not a capable initiator of offense in this moment in time. I agree with that. But like,
him hitting spot up threes doesn't mean that we don't need to get another guard.
Correct.
Shooting so well from 3 though. Come on, man.
To like, everyone that was in my mentions after that tweet.
but also like, okay, so Deuce isn't good at these things. Okay, he's not good at this thing right now. Why are you putting him in lineups that will exacerbate that? Like it will be exacerbated.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. Dibs loves that.
It's so fucking dumb. It's so frustrating. How many minutes did Deuce even play tonight?
9?
Deuce played 9 minutes playing. 9 times. If you know that reference, pour yourself a drink. But I don't know. The Deuce thing is weird because, again, like I just can't get over the fact that before IQ was traded, whenever Deuce did play, it was basically with another point guard on the floor. And now he can only
Schwinn, they have another point guard on the floor. Josh Hart. He can do everything.
Josh Hart used to do it all.
Please.
I gotta be honest, Schwinn, the more games like this happen, the more the front office should just call Tibbs' bluff and be like, dude, this roster's good enough. If you're actually going to stick a bench unit out there with Precious Achiuwa and Deuce McBride in playoff games, hang yourself, like do that, please. No. I didn't mean it like that, Sam. I meant like that would be hanging yourself. So yes, by all means, I didn't mean I would never. I know. Joke about that. I would never joke about that.
Yeah, I know.
It's and the thing is like this is what always drives me nuts because when you criticize Tibbs for that, there'll always be people that are like, well, this guy didn't play well. And it's like, yes, I fucking know that, dude. Like, I'm not saying he played well. My point is this lineup sucked. Like, that is it. You can, yes, I understand.
And maybe that lineup sucking contributed to why that player played bad.
Like, it's actually unfathomable to me to have watched that Game 6 in Miami and see, I will always go back to this because it is the most ridiculous thing I've watched. The Knicks are up 30-19, I think, at the end of that first quarter. He starts the second quarter with Deuce, RJ, Hart, Obi, Hartenstein on the floor. In an elimination game on the road, must win, gotta have it spot. He watches that lineup do absolutely nothing, which was surprising to exactly nobody other than him. They piss away the lead, and by the time he brings in Brunson and Randall, or Brunson, I don't know if he brought in one or both. By the time he does that, I think they were down 1. And it's like, if he's going to do that in a Game 6 on the road against Miami, he will do it again. It does not matter the line. It does not matter if you get him Malcolm Brogdon, right? Let's say you get him Malcolm Brogdon. Okay, he's got Malcolm Brogdon now. He will at some point put out a stupid fucking lineup because he cannot help himself. He can't help himself. And I'll even posit this. I would guess that right now he has some kind of minutes limit going around of like, I can't play Brunson or Randall more than like 39. I can't play them 40 minutes or something right now. And so because of this, he will he loses track of it in game, and then he'll come out and he probably the fucking fourth quarter or the third quarter ended, and he's probably like, "Fuck, I can't play Randall or Brunson the entire fourth quarter. What do I do? I guess I'll just have to fucking play this lineup with nobody that can create on the floor right now, and like buy them 4 minutes so that then they can come in with 8:30 left, and then they can close the entire game." And it's so fucking silly. It just it drives me nuts. I can't stand it. And like tonight is just one of those nights where, Randall did not have a good defensive game. Brunson, I thought his decision making to start the game was really, really bad. OG was weirdly bad defensively to start the first half. He was really good in the second half.
It's like they all collectively were like they just non-locked in mood.
Yeah, DiVincenzo actually I thought was maybe the Knicks' best player tonight in terms of like consistency over the full game. Hartenstein had a slow start. I couldn't really. I don't really know if that he was playing badly or if Dallas was just like very, very locked in on him. I actually think it was the latter. So maybe kudos to Dallas on that.
I mean, Hartenstein I'll tell you what it is, Schwinn. Hartenstein went from being like a god to just being normal, good Isaiah Hartenstein, and it was jarring because it was like, wait a second, he hasn't been.
Why isn't what happened? Why aren't you Hakeem Olajuwon again?
Right, exactly.
Look, I thought I'm not even going to judge Deuce because like anybody that's like, why isn't he being more aggressive offensively? Like,
where do you want him to get the touches in this offense? Like
he's clearly not empowered to do it.
I actually thought it was. I mean, we're judging on a 9-minute sample. I actually thought it was cool that he missed that first corner three and then immediately fired the next time down. To me, that said a lot about his character and mentality. I was like, okay, he believes in himself and he's not afraid of missing once. Grimes did the same thing. I think that's showing a little bit of mental progress. I actually think he runs a better pick and roll than he's given credit for, like the times I've seen it. And I think that if specifically when he plays with Julius, if somebody, whether it's an assistant coach, Julius or Deuce, somebody was just like, okay, Julius, you're the guy, you're going to get most of the touches, but we're going to get you the touches this way in a way that lets Deuce like initiate the offense and maybe potentially brings other people into the mix. I think that would be a way to further his development as the season goes on in a way that doesn't lower their floor in the meantime. Like what's happening now in these Julius Brunson minutes, the numbers are staggering and like the film backs it up. It's just like Julius, like all the stuff that people say about Julius, and like, again, nothing bad to say about him tonight, nothing bad to say about him the last 2 months, but like in those minutes, it's like, okay, he's like, it's my time, like, and he just goes from like playing within the team to doing whatever we're seeing in those minutes, and it just hasn't been good.
So I think it's twofold. I think one, he doesn't trust Deuce yet, which is reasonable. And then two, I'm pretty sure Tibbs doesn't trust Deuce yet, so he's not calling like he 100% whatever it was very annoying to see the things he would do with Quick where like Hart was bringing the ball up, but then they would have IQ come around the screen from the far side. But it was clear that was like a design thing they were doing to get IQ kind of going downhill or whatever, right? So it was obvious that he was running plays for Quick. It is obvious to me he is not running plays for Deuce. None. Like if he's running a play for Deuce, it is go spot up in the corner and this play is for you to get a corner three. It's not like, oh, I want you to run this pick and roll right here. That's not what he's trying to do with Deuce. And I understand, it's a hard balance because you're trying to win games and you also need to bring this player along. I get that it's a fine balance, but it's hard for Deuce, right? And I think that's just part of the growing pains you're gonna have to deal with for right now. But nobody really played that exceptionally well today, right? There were guys that had bursts. Randall and Brunson had bursts in the second half. Whatever. We don't need to go down the list. It's just like sometimes you need your coach to be the difference and to help you find your way and to help you find the margins and win the edges. And I just think Tibbs is good at is keeping guys committed, giving you baseline structure on either end of the floor. I think his macro level thinking of like what are the margins we need to win are generally like correct, even if I don't agree with all his processes getting there. Like I think the ideas that he has, broadly speaking, are fine. But in a game like tonight where, yeah, your best guys don't have it to start the game, and the defense isn't locked in, and X guy, like, Hartenstein gets into some foul trouble and whatever, like, he does not have it in him to find the edge consistently. And now that the bench, like, a lot of times his solution in these moments would just be play quickly more. It would, like, oh shit, it's not working. The starters don't have it tonight. I guess Quickly's gonna have to play more tonight. And guess what? That would work a lot because Quickly was really good. But now that you don't have that type of spark plug off the bench, and I know I still think Josh Hart will be fine in the long run, and I don't fully buy the, like, how bad he is by EPM this year. I do think it makes a point. I think he's been more close to, like, an average guy, like a 50th percentile guy, which isn't necessarily high praise. But, like, you don't have that X factor off the bench now. And so you need sometimes a little bit more from your coach than, let me just bring in X guy off the bench. Like, you need him to do something more than that. Change the context of what is happening. Like, and he finally did it towards the end of the game. So that he does fundamentally understand that to some degree, yeah, I could probably trap Kyrie here. It's not like he doesn't understand that. He just didn't want to do it. He was being stubborn. And okay, let's read some comments. Floyd Patterson Jr. says, "Thank you, Jeff, for saying that about Quickly's net rating after Tibbs praised OGs. I thought I was the only one who saw the hypocrisy in that statement." Yeah, I mean, look, he said it earlier in the year, right, to justify benching Evan. So I think Patrick Cannon here maybe is double posting. OG got cooked tonight. I thought he got cooked in the first half. Second half, I thought Kyrie just made some tough shots on him, but I thought his defense was pretty effective. Also, you'll never guess who had the highest plus minus on the team today, guys.
OG.
Was it OG?
OG.
Yeah, it was OG. OG was plus 14.
He's the new IQ that we do every night.
We got the new IQ. The new IQ just dropped. He was plus 14 in 39 minutes tonight. And just for, like, some context, he was plus 14 in 39 minutes. Julius Randle -1. Isaiah Harten and in 37 minutes. Isaiah Hartenstein -7 in 32 minutes. Brunson +8 in 39. DiVincenzo -6 in 30. McBride -12 in 9. Josh Hart -11 in 23. Quentin Grimes -8 in 15. Precious Chua +3 in 16. Like, yes, he did not have the greatest game of all time tonight. He was 1 of 6 from 3. Would have loved to see him cash in a couple of those corner threes in the fourth, but he's out. When he's out there, things seem to be happening for the Knicks on their favor. So, that
last three he took was preposterous, though. Like, I'm sure the play was for him to shoot there, but there was enough time where he could have audibled and been like, okay, I'm covered. Let's swing. And, like, they're down 4 with 17 seconds left or whatever. It's not like they needed to shoot in that moment. They could have. I don't know. I was not a fan of that shot. I agree with all your sentences.
I don't know why that was. Why was the play have DiVincenzo get the ball, have him drive baseline, kick it to OG we don't fucking draw up any plays for DiVincenzo to dribble. All of a sudden we're asking him to do, like, some Kyrie high wire act on the baseline to set up an OG corner 3. Like, yeah, I don't know about that.
Schwinn, I have a hypothesis about the Josh Hart EPM stuff. I think what EPM is capturing is the negative impact his 3-point shooting has on team offense. If I had to guess what EPM is trying to say, like tonight he turned what should have been an open 3 into an offensive foul because he just didn't want to shoot. Like, stuff like that is so much more harmful than missing an open 3 or, like, I don't know, missing a 2. Like, that's literally one of the most detrimental things you can do is turning up whatever the points per possession on an open 3 is into a turnover. That's brutal. And when Josh Hart is only shooting 2.8 threes per game or whatever, and he's shooting less than 33%, that sucks, especially when your coach is playing you at shooting guard sometimes, which I don't get at all. I mean, that lineup has done well, but I don't understand how it's sustainable at all because I have to imagine teams are going to be like, oh, Josh Hart is shooting guard. Okay. we're gonna figure that
They
out.
weren't defending him. They were like the lineup with him and Precious was insane. Like it's not just that lineup had no shot creation. It's that you literally they were not paying attention to Precious and they were not paying attention to Josh Hart. So you're playing 3-on-5 now on offense with three guys who can't create in terms of Deuce, Quentin Grimes, and OG Anunoby. Like there's no chance for that lineup to succeed short of God mode defensive stretches, which maybe is not beyond them, but like it's just an insane expectation to have. I don't disagree with what you're saying about Josh Hart. I just think it's a little bit excessive, but I also take it for what it is in the sense of like, there's no denying it. I don't like, I know the raw net rating for him looks pretty good, but like to me, he's been very clearly not the impact guy he was last year. And it's not just that he's not been as good. He's been downright mediocre to say the least. And what makes it more frustrating is that it's like he's trying, like Tibbs keeps trying to like squeeze him into these lineups and rotations and make it work. And it's like, dude, maybe it's just not going to work right now. And you just need to like dial it back and dial somebody else's up. And there'll be a point in the season where maybe, DiVincenzo stops shooting like Steph Curry from three, and you need to find a way to get Josh Hart going again. And you can go back to him and you can dial up his minutes then. Like it doesn't need to be this way. There's no reason for him. There was absolutely no reason for him tonight, especially in that fourth quarter when you're trailing and he was shooting like absolute shit. For him to come out, for him to stay in the game and Grimes to go out was so just dumb. That was just flat out stupid. So yeah.
Oh man,
Dude, somebody posted George Steinbrenner in hell seeing Marcus Stroman with a do-rag on Yankee Stadium, and then posted the Tony Soprano having a heart attack.
that is such a questionable signing.
Fuck, man.
That is such a questionable signing. By the Knicks.
I swear, like 3 times a day, I see something on the internet where I'm just like, please never get rid of. Please just let it stay forever. It's just too funny. Today's example of that was everything in the Grant Williams Taylor Rooks interview. I was literally reading every reply, just cackling. It was so fucking funny. Oh my god.
ZMP 323 says Johnny Bryant when. I bring this comment up to bring up Emmanuel Quickley's, of course, amazing Players Tribune letter/article to the fans of New York. What a great guy Emmanuel Quickley is. Great player, great guy. Sucks that he's going to be on the Raptors playing well. Definitely not a fan of that, but good to see him have a chance to really do what we all on this panel have envisioned him doing. And it was really great to see him mention the Boston game. Because like I think that's like every single Emmanuel Quickley fan / Knicks fans like favorite game from like the last like 2 to 3 years, I want to say, or like even beyond that, I would say. But it was great that he kind of has a pulse on the fan base as well. It was just great to see that, a player that we all embraced us as well.
Yeah, that was awesome. It read really authentic. It was sweet. And it kind of sewed up or tied a bow on, I mean, this stupid loss aside, I think all Knicks fans should feel really good about having OG Anunoby on the team. And should the dividends of the idea that Anunoby is a superior fit to RJ Barrett in the starting lineup, and that what Quickley was bringing was there were a lot of diminishing returns. There was some redundancy. We were never going to be able to maximize Quickley. So if getting somebody like Anunoby is the cost, we can agree or disagree the extent of how happy we can be, or even if we're going to be happy, but it's happened, it's done. And the fact that there are no hard feelings on Quickley's end, and he's like, I grew up here, I loved it, I love the fans. That was really nice to see because he was beloved by most of Knicks fans. And, I hope that nobody's now a Raptors fan, but him and RJ, it's when they're not playing the Knicks, it's okay. It's okay to just be like, I hope they do well. I wish him and RJ the best in the future, and mostly I wish the Knicks the best in the future, so it was nice to get some closure on that whole situation.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was a nice letter. It actually read like one that was actually written by him, which is not the case for most of the Players Tribune things I've ever read. I thought some of the stuff he wrote in there about Johnny Bryant was really nice, about Julius Randle was really nice too. The Wes anecdote to start it was hilarious. But like, yeah, it was just a nice piece and like gives it kind of closure, like you said. But I think it's stupid for fans to care about stuff like that. We shouldn't care about our favorite players.
Why didn't he give us a thank you note on IG, bro?
Yeah. No, it was nice.
When how dare we care about things like basketball and emotions and favorite players and this mundane thing we call life?
Yeah, I don't know. It was cool though, and I have like I've not held anything against OG. It's not like he asked like to be traded for Emmanuel quickly or something, and he's been really good. And again tonight, like he didn't even have his best game, but
his impact was still felt.
Something again, like I just think he's one of these guys where it's like when he doesn't have a good game, your team is still able to play well with him on the floor. That's a talent and that's a skill. It's an ability. But yeah, like it was nice for kind of quick to have his little farewell to the Knicks and to thank he thanked the fans too, which I think was a really nice touch because like Jeff said, he was definitely a big fan favorite. I think I've mentioned this, I've talked about this a lot. I think there was always like a special kind of energy in the Garden when he was starting to get his shit going, and it's been cool to see him like keep his kind of like this team is still really fun. Like leaving aside today, they're going to win a lot of games. They're going to kick a lot of teams' asses. Looking forward to that. But like in terms of just like fun, like a player who is a fan favorite and like plays with joy and all that stuff, like it's not. I don't know if there's really anybody on this team that plays like that with the way that the charisma and kind of like some of that. Yeah, like that joy that quickly played with, which was its own unique dynamic. That doesn't obviously mean like they're they can't succeed. You can't win a championship. Like, that's definitely not the case. But there was something special about how he played and kind of like, especially for this fucking team that had sucked for so long. And it's like our big joy would be like, I don't know, like Frank coming in and hitting like a couple threes or something. It was a big departure, and I think more so than RJ for sure. I think Quick helped turn things around. Like he was a real driving factor in the success of the team while he was here, and again, just nice for him to write that out, and it was received really well too. I think fans really appreciated that, and that's I for wherever he goes in his career, I think, Emmanuel Quickley will always be good. He'll always be good at Dykeman, as the kids say.
That's great and all, but what the fuck is he gonna do with this jersey that I bought for him? I need a refund, bro, like immediately.
Bro, it's a classic jersey now.
Yeah, get it framed, loser.
I got a solution for you, Tyrese. I don't know if you saw, speaking of good things, but Sam finally got off the schneid of his unlucky streak with betting, and he finally won a parlay. So maybe Sam could just loan you the money,
I'm so fucking mad. First of all, this fucking foot fetish freak over here.
Wow.
Is like, first of all, you need to apologize for that because that is a wild ass tweet you had earlier. But anyway,
it wasn't even wild. There's been wilder tweets tweeted.
You're married, bro. You can't be tweeting like that.
All right.
You're retired from that, bro.
Anyways.
Look what I've done. Look what I've created.
Look what just started bringing up my parlays. This isn't supposed to be talked about until hour 2 of the podcast.
I gotta say, Sam, you must have a real talent because obviously, like, a bias is created when you win. Like in your head, like you're like, oh, that must have been a good bet because it won. But oftentimes you bet something and the odds will be really long, and I'll just be like, man, that just seems like so possible. Like it'll be like plus 20,000. And so, I mean, plus 20,000 is like 0.05% or something like that. Like it's just incredible. Like it's incredibly unlikely to happen. But then you look at the things and it's like, yeah, like you can just see all those things happening. So I don't know. Again, I'm not like a professional sports bettor by any means, but I do feel like you have a good feel for those putting together long shot parlays that feel like good prices.
It helps better when you're watching it and you're able to get a real like good idea of the game flow, who's got momentum, who's got things rolling, who do you expect to get things rolling.
Did you bet that at halftime, Sam?
I placed several bets from halftime up until like I want to say the 3-minute mark on 3-minute mark in the third quarter. Just because like that was the point of the time where like the Knicks made several runs, of course. And I figured that either Julius or Brunson or both of them were both going to have it going for the Knicks to have a chance. And I anticipated that they was going to play them as much minutes as possible to have a chance. And he did. And if the Knicks were going to make things competitive, I anticipated that, of course, Kyrie and Tim Hardaway were going to continue to do what they were doing because they were the only guys scoring for the Mavs. So just being able to watch the game and being able to just like get a sense of how things are going and how do you expect things to play out, even if the odds are long, for me, it's like it can always happen.
Nice. Well, good work.
Yeah, I try. I'll see what happens tomorrow. I have a good feel with Knicks games just because I watch the Knicks the most, of course, obviously, of all the NBA teams. So it's easier to get a pulse on them and who they're playing rather than like watching like some random like Pacers Hawks game or like, whatever it is that's happening on like a Friday night that the Knicks aren't playing. But yeah. All right. So let me see. MF asks this multi-layered question. What's the next step if Div still refuses to make timely adjustments like trapping Kyrie and playing Randall at the 5 in the playoffs? They can't keep rewarding him with pieces he wants like OG, then use the excuse that he doesn't have the adequate talent to compete with other teams in the conference. When is it on the front office to make a change?
I mean, this playoff is probably going to be like the referendum on him. And if he can't win with this team, especially if they get him a Brogdon at the deadline, which I think they're going to do, then I feel like it's up to him at this point. So
he should have been fired at the end of last year's playoffs. And if he repeats that type of idiotic performance against a quality playoff team like he did against Miami, he should be fired again. Whether he will or not, I don't know. But if he can't countenance the idea of flexibility with his lineups and rotations based on the dynamics of a game, and not just the lineups and rotations, but also his tactical approaches, that says something about him. And that's not just, it doesn't just say something, we've seen this enough now for however many fucking years he's been the coach of the Knicks and the Timberwolves and the Bulls. There are fundamental things about him that are consistent. And even when you think he's figured it out, he will revert probably at some point. And that's just what it is. So I hope I'm wrong. And I hope that he performs extremely well in the playoffs and that the Knicks make a deep playoff run. But I will continue to believe that, like in Oppenheimer, where he's like, until I see evidence to the contrary, I'll believe that Dr. Oppenheimer was loyal to this country. Until I see evidence to the contrary, I will believe that the Knicks will not be a contender with Tom Thibodeau as head coach, unless they have some insane Golden State level of like overwhelming talent compared to their competition. I just think he will not win the margins that you need your coach to be, not even just win, but at least control, minimize, mitigate, whatever you want to put it at. So yeah, I mean, there's no excuse. So he either does it or he does not, and we'll judge at that point. For right now, all we can do is look at the games that we have and judge him on what he's doing in the regular season.
And then watch the tape 3 times just to make sure we're saying the absolute right thing.
Correct.
And Schwinn, you said this on your pod with Stacy, but like, you have to be truly open-minded and truly objective in analyzing this, and it's really hard because we only have so much information. But it's important to remember that like there are outcomes where the Knicks lose in the first round, where Tibbs is like, where you can objectively say Tibbs did everything he could, and there are outcomes where they lose in the second round, where it's like, oh my god, like okay, this proves that Tibbs he did it again. You know, he was another one of his stubborn buzzer points wasn't pushed, and okay, we've gone as far as we can go with this guy. Like you can't just be fully results oriented and be like, well, they lost in the first round, that must mean Tibbs sucked, or oh well, they made it to the second round again, so who could have done better? It's like, no, it doesn't really work like that because a coach can only control so much.
Yeah.
This is a good question here by Walt Clyde Frazier. Who do you trust less in the playoffs, Tibbs or Julius?
Tibbs.
The problem with this question is that, like, let's just say hypothetically, I trust Julius like 5 times more than Tibbs. It's still possible for Julius to be more detrimental because players are just so much more important. But I guess if we're viewing them as equal in terms of their impact, I would agree that the answer is Tibbs, especially how Julius is playing now, just with like his overall process and how he's viewing himself as an inside-out player. And I do wish that he would shoot some of those in-rhythm open threes, and I hope we get to a point where he is. But his determination to get into the paint and create offense that way, like you saw it in the third quarter. When he's rolling and he's confident and the shots are falling and he's getting inside the paint, all of a sudden shit opens up for this offense in a way it doesn't for anybody else, even Brunson.
Yeah. Wow. And I want to say, the only reason I say Tibbs is because I think there's legitimate mitigating factors in, like, I don't fully believe that he was hurt thing last year to explain away all of his struggles in the playoffs, but like, I think that's a fair thing to bring up. And the first year he was clearly just awful. I also think
he was also overmatched. Like the team that he had around him was like,
look, Reggie Bullock sucks, Alfred Payton sucks. Derrick Rose, that was like the last time he was good at basketball.
That was also the last time Nerlens Noel was good at basketball.
Yeah, and he was not good.
He was barely good at basketball.
Yeah, he was terrible. Yeah, he was terrible in that series. Taj Gibson might have been like the Knicks' second best player or something in that series. Obi Toppin had like their biggest.
I was gonna say Obi might have been the second best player.
Yeah, whoever it was, we don't need to debate that.
It was a combination of IQ and Obi in their spurts.
Yeah. But like I think because of that, I get it. Tibbs has a long track record of his team's offense completely breaks down in the playoffs. That is his track record. You can go back to Chicago, you can go back to Minnesota, you can go back to wherever, even both of his times in New York. The defense usually turns up. The defense is usually fine. The offense is where his teams struggle all the time in the playoffs. Regardless of talent, regardless of whatever, they completely fall apart. That's huge. We'll see what happens. But forgetting who we trust less, I think the reality is these playoffs are very much make or break for both guys. In terms of like, at least how I view it. I mean, I don't know. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not Leon Rose. But like, for me, if I were Leon, I would be viewing this as I have gotten you a star point guard. I have gotten you a big wing that protects you guys defensively, that unlocks whatever the hell you want to unlock, Tibbs. Like, I've gotten both of you guys things that you need to be successful in the playoffs. Now you have to show me that my investment into those things warrants me investing in you further. And it's critical for both of them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Wow. The NBA today was really brutal. Next tape brings up the Blazers lost by 64 today, by the way.
Yeah, that team might be headed into it feels like they're waiting for a trade to drop, and that's just what it is.
Yeah. The NBA was brutal today, by the way. Like, just in general, it's like watching it as a fan, just that whole Celtics Bucks game was disgusting.
There wasn't the game so bad they like flipped the feed on like TNT.
Yeah, they changed the game to our game because like they were like enough of this bullshit that the Bucks and Celtics are doing.
God, man, we would have been the 4th seed tonight if we played with a semblance of urgency, man. I'm so pissed.
That's what happens, man. That's what happens when. What is going on over there?
All right. That time of the night. Okay.
I'm just looking at feet pictures.
All right.
Sam said retweet.
All right. All right.
Tell you FBL foot fetish.
Anyways, I guess we're up to this part of the podcast tonight. 80 was breaking my parlay. I didn't have any hope. Huh?
You don't get to complain. You don't get to complain tonight.
I'm not complaining. I'm literally about to say I didn't have any hope in the Lakers parlays that I posted because the Lakers are ass. And
if you hit 2 tonight,
hope.
I would have been swinging.
Sam just needs to go get it. Sam just needs to go get a pedicure and he'll feel better tomorrow.
Oh, right. You know what?
Sam, you can. Well, man, never mind. It's a month away. I was gonna say that hotel room and dinner for you and your girl in a month. It's locked. It's locked in. You know, but no, we still got a lot of parlays to play over this next month.
So FBL stands for feet be lovely.
All right. All right.
What the fuck is this feet thing today? What is happening?
Bruh, I posted a joke tweet today.
That was not a joke.
Yeah, it was a joke tweet.
That was a joke. Yeah,
it was a joke tweet.
Yeah. Sam is a dog lover.
I didn't realize that the Run.down was a kink shaming post game.
Yeah. Sam revealed that him and Rex Ryan have something in common.
Wow. Okay. You know what?
So like when somebody's out,
Sam has a tattoo of Mark Sanchez on his leg too.
Yes,
I believe it.
Wait, Rex Ryan has a tattoo of Mark Sanchez on his leg?
Yeah.
That's legitimately insane. Of all the quarterbacks to tattoo on you, Mark Sanchez was the one.
All right, so question when when athlete's foot. When you hear
athlete's
foot, how does that make you feel?
All right, you know what? I am ignoring all of this.
Connor Pearson Ward says, "Will be free walk, so feet be lovely can run." Good point. Wall Clyde Fraser says, "Tibbs has a tattoo of Josh Hart." It's like now it's he. If we're gonna like bet, probably has a tattoo of Derrick Rose
or Taj Gibson.
No, yeah, maybe Taj. Yeah, Taj. Yeah, probably Taj.
Taj is good. He definitely has one of those like voodoo dolls with Quickly's face on it in his house that he just like throws shit at when he gets home. Like, you know,
why is he scoring 20?
Oh my god, I had to play him again. Fucking A. He's so small.
He's so small.
Okay, so Sam, if I said the court is 94 feet long and 50 feet wide,
oh my god.
You start sweating?
Yeah, look at him drinking that water there.
Wow. Okay.
Therese, are you allowed to kink shame behind an avatar? That seems like, not even playing fields here. What do you got going on over there?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much. I genuinely don't think.
Do we want to talk about the next matchup? Who's the next? Who's the next?
They play Memphis Saturday night.
Is that at Memphis?
I will say because they lost this game, I'm not worried about them having like a they will be ready to go against Memphis.
I mean, the Grizzlies are also like very hobbled at this point. Like Ja's out, Marcus Smart is out, Triple J was out. He was out the last game, so was Santi Aldama. They might both be out for this game as well. So we could be playing like a skeleton Grizzlies squad most likely.
Wait, Jaren Jackson?
Yeah, he was out the last game.
How the fuck did they beat Dallas in Dallas?
Desmond Bane and Marcus Smart went crazy.
This is kind of the point, right? Of like the NBA regular season is long. Things are weird. Things happen.
Guys are gonna have hot shooting nights.
Yeah, it's a lot of this was like it's a confluence of like you said, man. Like Jeff, you said this right. Hartenstein did not play like God mode Hartenstein. Randall and Brunson had like some weird, funky starts to the game. Tibbs did not coach a great game. So, like, you had all these things have to come together, and you lost the game by 4, where, like, the Mavericks were on fire in a lot of ways. Kyrie hit shots. Like, look, you can say whatever you want about Tibbs not trapping, but, like, I was fine with him. I'm always generally okay playing that game to a certain point. I just thought that point should have arrived much sooner than the last 5 minutes. But, like, Kyrie hit shots, so you're just like, okay. Tim Hardaway Jr. hit a bunch of bullshit. Like, it happens. So, they'll probably make it back at some point, and we'll move on from this. But I don't think there's I wouldn't be too worried or concerned about anything we saw tonight. They just had a weird game.
Fuck, we gotta face the
Dude,
great
I was
Williams.
literally about to say, I was literally about to say, I swear to God, that
Vince Williams must have the game of his life.
yeah, he's the Sam candidate of next game. Like, he's gonna hit 5 threes. You should throw him in all parlays.
If they even post his lines, because like, who the hell is Vince Williams to have FanDuel lines?
He's been. I think EPM likes him a lot. Let me check again, but I think he's been.
I heard he's been like a really impactful player. I don't think
Vince
FanDuel-
Williams is
coming
in.
on.
Vince Williams is in the 69th percentile in EPM, but he's in the 90. He's in the 90.
Nice.
He's in the 94th percentile in defensive EPM for whatever.
But
Yeah,
I
that makes
think-
sense. I think
He also
Vince
has a
fans
very
have been really happy about him. This
He,
year.
he has a very robust 11.8 usage, by the way.
Well, it's about to skyrocket.
I mean, he's shooting almost 6 threes per 75 possessions, and he's shooting 35% on those threes. So, like, he's a fine shooter. He's just bad at everything right now. He's just bad at everything else offensively.
He'll just
So that's exactly the type of player that for us to stick Jalen Brunson on and hit open threes because he's playing us. But yeah, his defense.
Don't worry. I'm Josh Hart he'll figure it out. He'll figure it out.
You
What about Josh Feet?
All right.
dude? Have you... Man,
Sam's probably going to call Bridges big ass clown feet.
What? This is insane now.
Oh my god!
But anyways, I mean, yeah, the Grizzlies are going to be super hobbled. We should be able to take care of business. Even if Vince Williams is the game of his life, if him and Desmond Bane are dropping 5 threes each, I think we can hopefully outlast that.
Do you think Sam's favorite moment in NBA history was Kevin Durant's foot on the line, Tyrese?
Oh, right. You know what? I think this is a great place for us to end tonight. Shout out to everyone that tuned in.
Wait till the Knicks were defeated.
Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. We just passed 1K subs, so make sure you guys help us get to 2K subs.
For more content like this.
Grizzlies game on Saturday. So make sure you guys are tuned in for that. And we'll catch you guys then. Peace out.
Sam loves feet.